Cecily! 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 Your books await. German grammar, page 115. We will repeat yesterday's lesson.
But I don't like German. It isn't a becoming language, all that hacking and spitting.
Child, you know your guardian wishes you to improve in every way. He lays particular stress on your German.
Uncle Jack is so serious. Sometimes I think he can't be well.
Mr. Worthing enjoys the best of health. I know of no one who has a higher sense of duty and responsibility.
I suppose that's why he's so bored when the three of us are together.
We must remember that Mr. Worthing has many troubles. We must not forget his constant anxiety over that profligate young man, his brother.
I wish Uncle Jack would allow his brother to visit. We might have a certain influence over him. I'm certain you would.
Oh, I do not think even I could produce an effect on a character that, by his brother's admittance, indulges in drunkenness and debt. I am not in favor of this modern mania of turning a bad person into good at a moment's notice. As a man sows, so let him reap. Oh, you must put away your journal, Cecily. I really don't see why you keep one.
I keep a journal in order to enter the secrets of my life that I would otherwise forget.
Memory, my dear Cecily, is the journal that we all carry with us.
Yes, but that usually records events that have never happened and couldn't possibly have happened. I believe that kind of memory is responsible for most tell-all memoirs that are written today.
Do not speak disparagingly of publication. I wrote a novel myself in younger days.
Did you, Miss Prism?
Yeah.
Oh, how clever you are. I hope it did not end happily. I do not like stories that end happily.
Things end how you want them to end. That is what fiction means. And what passes for truth in the tabloids and on the Fox cable news network.
Was your novel ever published?
No. It was unfortunately lost. To your work, child. Your studies await.
But I see dear Reverend Chasuble coming.
Oh, dear Reverend Chasuble, this is indeed a pleasure.
And how are we this morning? I trust you are well?
Miss Prism has just been complaining of a slight headache. I think it would do her good to have a short stroll with you.
I've not said anything about a headache.
I know, but I felt instinctively that you had one, and indeed I was thinking of that and not my German lesson when the Reverend came in.
I hope, Cecily, you've not been inattentive.
Afraid I am.
That is strange. Were I fortunate enough to be Miss Prism's pupil, I would hang upon her lips. I speak metaphorically. The metaphor I draw from is life. The birds, the bees. Mr. Worthing, I suppose, has not yet returned from town.
Yeah, we do not expect him until tomorrow.
Oh, yes. He does like to spend his Sundays in New York.
He tries, unsuccessfully, I'm afraid, to get his younger brother to church.
His younger brother sounds like a very bad person. I wish I could meet him.
I will continue with my walk. I will see you both, no doubt, this afternoon at Vespers.
I think perhaps I will take that stroll with you. I find I have a headache after all, and a stroll might do it good.
With pleasure, Miss Prism. We might go as far as to the school and back.
Oh, that would be delightful. Cecily, in my absence, you will read your book on economics. You may omit the chapter on the fall of the Dutch guilder. I find that it's somewhat too sensational.
There is a gentleman at the door.
Mr. Ernest Worthing, B4, the Albany Madison Avenue. Uncle Jack's brother. Did you tell him his brother is in New York?
Oui, mademoiselle. He seemed relieved.
Would you ask him to come join me here?
Pardon?
Ask him to come join me here.
Ha! Oui, mademoiselle.
Okay. I've never met a really wicked person before. This is exciting.
At last we meet, my little cousin Cecily.
You are under some strange misconception. I am not little. In fact, I believe I am tall for my age. But I am your distant cousin Cecily, and you, I see from your card, are my Uncle Jack's brother, my wicked, distant cousin Ernest.
I'm not really wicked, cousin Cecily. You mustn't think that.
If you are not, then you have been deceiving us. I hope you are not leading a double life, pretending to be wicked and really being good all the time. That would be hypocrisy.
Of course, I have been rather reckless.
I'm glad to hear it.
In fact, now you mention it, I've been rather bad in my own small way.
I don't think you should be so proud of that, though I'm sure it must have been pleasant.
It's much pleasanter to be here with you, Cecily.
I don't see how you are here at all. Uncle Jack won't be back till tomorrow afternoon.
That is a great relief. Disappointment. Unfortunately, I'm due to go back by the early morning train.
I think you should wait until Uncle Jack arrives tomorrow afternoon. I know he wants to speak to you about your immigrating.
About my what?
Immigrating. He said you will be leaving for Canada.
Canada. I'd sooner die.
He told us at dinner on Wednesday that you ought to choose between this world, the next, and Canada.
The accounts I've heard of Canada and the next world are not encouraging. This world will have to do.
Yes, but are you good enough for it?
I'm not that. You'll have to reform me. You could make that your mission.
I'm afraid I've no time before tomorrow's early morning train.
I'll have to do it myself this afternoon.
It is rather quixotic of you, but perhaps you should try.
Okay, I will. Yes, I feel better already.
You do look a little worse for wear.
That's because I'm hungry.
Oh, how thoughtless of me. I should remember that when one is reforming oneself, one should have regular and wholesome meals. Won't you come inside the house?
Thank you. Might I have that rose?
Why?
I think it perfectly reflects you.
I don't think it's right for you to say such things to me. Miss Prism never says such things.
Then Miss Prism is a short-sighted old lady. You are the prettiest girl I've ever seen.
Miss Prism says good looks are only a snare.
A snare that every sensible man would want to be caught in.
I don't think I would want to catch a sensible man. I wouldn't know what to say to him.
I'm happy you've come to live in this part of the country. I hope I'm responsible in some small way for your decision to come here.
I merely answered an advertisement for a tutor for Mr. Worthing's ward, but yes, I did know you were the residing man of the clergy, and perhaps that made some small contribution to my decision.
When you left New York those many years ago, I thought the worst. You never explained the reason for your sudden departure.
It is a matter of which I cannot speak. The last 25 years have not been easy.
Your leaving had a profound effect. I never married. Subsequently took up the cloth of the Catholic Church.
Please, let's not speak of it anymore.
Of course.
But where is Cecily?
Mr. Worthing? Mr. Worthing?
We didn't expect you back until tomorrow afternoon.
Events have me returned sooner than I expected.
I trust this garb of woe does not betoken some terrible calamity?
My brother.
More shameful debts and drunkenness.
Still living his life of pleasure.
Dead.
Your brother Ernest dead?
Quite dead.
What a lesson for him. I trust he will learn from it.
Poor Ernest. He had many faults, but it is still a sad, sad blow.
Very sad indeed. Were you there at the end?
No, he died abroad, in Toronto. I received this yesterday, as well as a note from the manager of the Grand Hotel.
Was the cause of death mentioned?
A severe chill, it seems.
As a man sows, so shall he reap.
No one is perfect. I myself am quite susceptible to drafts and colds.
Bless you.
That reminds me. Christenings, Reverend Chasuble. You do know how to christen.
Of course. Is there a particular infant in which you are interested?
Oh, but it isn't for a child. I would like to be christened myself this afternoon.
Surely, Mr. Worthing, you've been christened already.
I don't know. But if you think I'm too old...
No, not at all. Is there a particular time this afternoon you'd like this ceremony performed?
About 5.
I have 2 similar ceremonies this afternoon. Case of twins.
I don't see much fun in being christened with other babies. It would be childish. Would 5:30 do?
Admirably. Now, Mr. Worthing, I shall intrude no longer into a house of sorrow.
Uncle Jack! Oh, I'm so pleased to see you back. But what terrible clothes you have on. Do change them.
Cecily?
My child.
Uncle Jack, what is the matter? You look as if you have toothache, and I have such a surprise for you. Guess who is in the breakfast room? Your brother!
What?
Your brother Ernest!
But I don't have a brother.
Don't say that. However badly he may have behaved in the past, he is still your brother. I'll go get him.
These are joyful tidings.
After we had all been resigned to his loss, his sudden return seems peculiarly distressing.
I have a brother in the breakfast room?
Brother Jack, I've come from town to tell you that I'm sorry for all the trouble I put you through, and that I intend to lead a better life in the future.
Uncle Jack, you're not going to refuse your own brother's hand.
Nothing will induce me to shake it. I think his coming here is wrong. He knows very well why.
Uncle Jack, there is good in everyone. Ernest was just telling me about his poor invalid friend, Mr. Bunbury, whom he visits often.
Oh, he's been talking about Bunbury, has he?
Yes, he's told me all about him and his terrible state of health.
I do admit, of course, I have my faults, but I did expect a more enthusiastic welcome.
Uncle Jack, if you will not shake his hand, I will never forgive you.
Never forgive me? All right, but this is the last time that I'll do it.
It is pleasant, is it not, to see such perfect reconciliation? We shall leave the 2 brothers together.
Cecily, you will come with us.
Yes, Miss Prism. My task of reconcilement is over.
Albert, you must leave. I don't allow Bunburying here.